Even when I was earning what a lot of people will consider good money in terms of salary, 200K, that is not taxed. Like, that's after taxes. Come on, you all. Even with that, I was miserable. I didn't know how to use it to my advantage. For me, what the sense of urgency was doing was it was making me cram too many things into my days, into my weeks and months. And then what happens is I start out with a bang and I go, 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 go. And then I crash and I burn out. Even the fact that I'm showing up on this episode, on this podcast today, if I told you the emotions that were going through my mind before I pressed record, you will not believe that it's the same person that is talking right now. But I have taken a bigger bet on myself. And now I understand the compounding power of taking consistent action, of building the right foundations first. I get it now. Ooh, I get it now. Here is something you need to hear. You're not lazy. You're just misaligned. I'm Kepo. I help high performers get unstuck by taking bold, aligned action. And this is Grow with Kepo, where we speak with influential trailblazers who've made their mark and found the clarity that changed their lives. This is where we get clear, realign, and move toward a life that actually feels like yours. Welcome to the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show, to the Grow with Kepo show. Today, I want to share a very personal story. I was making $200,000 USD a year, and I was more miserable than ever before. And I'm going to be talking about the 3 things that I wish I could tell myself back then. I'm not going to ramble. I'm going to go right into it. Number 1, I wish that I could go back and tell myself, Kepo, do not overestimate what you can do in a year and underestimate what you can do in 5 years. Because I always put so much on myself and I put so much pressure on myself, like in this 1 year, I must achieve this, I must do this, I'll start this business and it will start making 6 figures in 2 months. And all of that is just very unreasonable. But then I wasn't thinking long term. Like, hey, if you actually just did 1% better every day, if you just focused on that, or you just focused on doing 1 hour towards that business every day, imagine what it could be in 5 years. I was very impatient. I am still working on that. Anyone who knows me very well knows that patience is a development area for me. I'll put it like that. But I was even more impatient then because for me, I wanted things to happen immediately. I wanted things to happen like yesterday because I always have this sense of urgency, which is a good thing if you know how to use it to your advantage. I didn't know how to use it to my advantage. For me, what the sense of urgency was doing was it was making me cram too many things into my days, into my weeks and months. And then what happens is I start out with a bang and I go, 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 go. And then I crash and I burn out. And then it now starts, this is the beginning of this vicious cycle where I burn out and then I go online and I look at what my mates are doing. And I'm like, why can't I do it like this? And I compare myself with them. And we all know that comparison is the thief of joy. But I compare myself, I compare my progress, and I'm ashamed. And I feel discouraged. And I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. And then because of that, I try to double down, even in my burnout stage. I double down on my efforts, but I'm doubling down on the wrong efforts because again, it's coming from a place where I'm just trying to rush. And then because I double down, I get even more tired and the burnout is even more real. So I burn out more. I go online, I look at what other people are doing, and then the cycle continues. I wish I could go back and tell myself, oh my gosh, Kepo, you don't have to rebuild your life. You don't have to completely pivot. You don't have to completely build a successful and sustainable business in 1 year. You can give yourself a couple of years to do it. Why? Well, because first of all, I'm not working on the business full time. That's number one. I need to be realistic with how I plan my days, my weeks, with the kinds of goals that I'm trying to achieve. I'm not saying play small, but there is a balance between playing small and just overdoing it to the point where you burn out. Right? So if I could just go back and tell myself, like, Kepo, pace yourself. Eventually you will get there. You don't have to do all of this in 1 year. But how about you think about it in terms of what you can get done in 2 years, in 3 years? You have a full-time job that you're working on right now. And you know you're not in a position to quit just yet. So why don't you pace yourself? No, I won't do that because guess what? Impatience. And if you're like me, if you're someone like me who, if you don't see small wins, you just get distracted and you're on to the next shiny object. It's called the shiny object syndrome. I don't know if it's actually called that. I'm just naming it that. But it's kind of like that monkey brain. It's like, oh, okay, you do something for 2 months, 3 months, like, it's not working. And then somebody else talks about another business idea, or you go online, you see something, you're like, oh, let me go chase that one. Well, guess what? The person you were when you were trying to work on that first idea is the same person you are if you're trying to work on the new idea. If you haven't figured out what it is that is making you just start and stop, start and stop, start and stop, you're going to carry the same habits to the next business idea. Whereas if you took a step back and you actually studied the people who have actually done very well for themselves, whether they built an online business or they bought a laundromat or I don't know, they have a restaurant, you need to study those who have been successful in their businesses because success leaves clues. You will see that they didn't just blow in the first year. There was a lot of work that was done in the shadows. There was a lot of failure along the lines. And they give themselves that room to grow. That's why they say overnight success happens in just 10 years, right? It would seem like overnight success when you finally do it, when those people finally get it that you've been watching, but it wasn't overnight. They gave themselves quite a number of years to actually figure it out. And guess what? They're still figuring it out. Even though they're successful now, they're still figuring it out. Talk less of you or I, who is brand new to this business and you're like, I'm just going to make a killing immediately. Come on. So first of all, for me, I had a 9 to 5. Second of all, it's my first time trying to do that type of business. Please, what kind of miracle was I expecting? You have to give yourself time to actually learn. And you will learn by doing. And the clarity to do better will come from execution. But that takes time. I cannot stress this enough that you need to give yourself enough time. And I'm also preaching to myself because this is something that I sometimes struggle with, even today. I have to be realistic. Hey, quick break. I want to invite you to something powerful. If you're a high-achieving professional who feels burnt out, stuck, or like you've checked all the boxes but still feel unfulfilled, I've been there. That's why I offer free strategy sessions to help you reconnect with purpose and get clear on your next bold move. I would love to support you. Just hit the link in the description to book your call. Now, back to the episode. As of the time of recording this, right, we have 6 more months left in the year. And I cannot tell you how many times I've gone back to my battle board where I write out all my goals for the rest of the year, each month, the big milestones I want to hit. And I have to take a step back and say, is this actually realistic? Because if you want to be a high performer, and being a high performer doesn't mean burning out in other areas of life, burning the candles on both ends so that you can win in business or something. That's not what being a high performer is. Being a high performer is performing above standard norms over a long time without sacrificing your well-being and your relationships. So, sis, bro, if you're going to have time to sleep 7 to 8 hours a day, if you're going to have time to nurture your body, eat well, exercise, hydrate, stretch, meditate, pray, read a book, take a walk, all the things that refresh you. If you're going to have time to do that, and then you need to have time to work on your business, and maybe if you still have a 9 to 5, you need to show up and be on your A game there. And then you're probably not just an individual, an island in this world. You probably have family members. Maybe you're married, you have your spouse, maybe you have children. And if you don't have any of those, you probably have siblings or cousins or your parents, and you want to be there. You have friends, you want to spend time with them. Come on. Let us be realistic, especially in this our modern world, DIY world, where you do everything yourself, of which that is another episode I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about valuing time over money. Another topic for another day. But before I digress, back to this, if you're going to have time, you all to do all of these things, and you want to succeed in this business that you're building, or your side hustle, because you're tired of this 9 to 5 life, well, you're going to have to get super duper realistic and giving yourself time to rest on your, even on your calendar. Like sometimes I actually have to block out time. Okay, Wednesday evening from 6 p.m., I'm doing nothing. I am going to rest. I'm not even going to watch TV. I'm just going to be, I might read a book, but I'm not going to do anything that is going to get me overstimulated. If you're going to do all of that, you need time. You can't expect to start something new while you're doing your 9 to 5, or you're taking care of yourself or your family, and just boom, right out the park. You just excel like that. Come on. And you also need to give time to learn, to make mistakes, get back up again and do it again and try it a better way. So that's the first one. The second thing that I wish I could go back to tell myself is this. I wish I could go back to tell myself, Kepo, build your financial safety net well now. Build a solid foundation before you go taking bigger financial risks. For a long time, and this is, I'm being super transparent here. Not that I wasn't transparent before, but for a long time, you all, instead of just having that safety net where, I'm just putting money aside every month and I'm not looking at it as like a long-term, financial portfolio is just growing and I'm not even touching it and it's just compounding for me year on year. Instead of doing that, I will take my hard-earned money, huge lump sum, and then go invest it in some, sexy, fancy real estate investment, business idea, whatever. Don't get me wrong. Real estate is awesome if you know what you're doing. Real estate can also really mess you up if you don't know what you're doing. And I fell in the latter group. I lost within 1 year, I lost to the tune of about $70,000, you all, that I could have put aside. My seed money that I could have put aside and invested it wisely in capital markets, maybe money lending or something more stable. Yeah, it will have a lower rate of return, but it will be stable and it will just be there as my safety net. Why? Because when you now that I've like, when I now got to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, I am actually really tired of this 9 to 5 life. I am so sick and tired of it. And I feel like I've overstayed my welcome in that world. But guess what? You got to keep working, because You know how it goes. Got to pay the bills. I want to continue to afford my lifestyle. Where is that money going to come from? If I don't, but if I had a good safety net, don't get me wrong, I always had savings, emergency savings, but there's emergency savings is there for an emergency. It's not something that you bring that you take out of to pay your rent or to pay your regular bills. That's not what emergency savings are for. But because I didn't have something already there for me over the years, I was stuck. I had to just continue working. And I'm like, okay, now I have a goal for the money that I'm earning now. I'm not just going to take another stupid lump sum. I'm going to invest in something that I don't know much about, or I haven't really studied it, or I partner with the wrong people or whatever. I'm going to just do what is safe because that is the solid foundation. So that if I found myself in a situation where, you know what, I don't want to do this job anymore. I want to go focus on my own thing. Guess what? I have something that I've already set aside to sustain me for months, years, till I build up my own thing. Imagine having that kind of freedom. And I know if you're listening to me now, you're probably thinking, okay, Kepo, like I'm also in your shoes and I don't know what age you are. Maybe you're in your mid 30s, mid 40s. It's never too late to start. The best time that you could have done this and have a safety net for yourself so that you have the freedom to do what you want to do and not have to work because you need money. It's not too late to start that now because now you know better. Actually, I highly recommend this book, Start Late, Finish Rich. I've forgotten the name of the author now. I'll put it up for you all. But it's really, really good. Some of you might even be in debt. For me, luckily for me, for the most part of my life, I haven't been in debt. I'll tell you a story about that one very soon. But you might be in debt and you need to learn how to save up for your future, but also pay off your debt at the same time. When you have all these things, this financial noise in your head, and then you're now trying to start a business or whatever, sometimes it becomes a distraction. Sometimes you then end up using all your energy to do all this work, toil and toil to pay the bills, and you lose all your creative juices to actually create a business, create a side hustle, create, brainstorm another stream of income that can start bringing, steady, maybe passive or active income for you. Do you understand why it is so important? Like why I wish, oh my gosh, I wish I could go back and just tell myself way back then, 10 years ago, Kepo, take it slow. Tranquila. Relax, calm down, sis. Whatever is meant for you will come for you. Don't try to rush it. Pace yourself. Build a solid financial foundation so that you don't have the economic stress in your brain when you're actually trying to build something that makes something of your life. But let's get realistic, y'all. I know most of the people that are probably listening to this, you are probably in that bucket where you're not in the position to actually stop working because you need to pay your rent and you need to buy food and you just need to live life. I get that. So where do you go from here? What do you do? Let me tell you what I told myself. First of all, I did an audit of my life, my finances, right? Oh, I read that book, Start Late, Finish Rich. I read other books as well. That's the thing about me. Like I've read so many books about finances, investing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why am I still not doing it? I'm just not following the advice. But this time I was like, you know what? Not only am I going to do everything step by step and just follow the advice, I'm also going to work with people or someone who has been very successful in this part of their life. And I have someone like that. And so I have just kept very close to this person and I'm just taking advice from them because that's another thing. And I say this on this show a lot. The only thing worse than bad advice is trusted bad advice. Make sure you're getting your advice, really good advice, from a really good source. You cannot go to somebody who is just as broke as you and struggling like you and be getting financial what do you call it, wisdom or advice from them. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. So for me, I have kind of changed the people that I rub minds with more often to people who are actually succeeding in the areas where I want to succeed. And rather than just reading a book and then feeling like because I read the book, then I've done what the book said. Instead, I'm like, no, I'm going to use a different metric here. Yeah, I read it, but have you actually done what the book said in this chapter before moving on to the next chapter? Sometimes you almost have to handle yourself with iron hands because at some point, something is going to give. We can't continue on this path and 20 years from now expect to live the kind of life you're living, enjoy the standard of living that you have now if you continue this way. And that is something that oh my gosh, I wish I had this podcast, this particular episode 10 years ago, because it'll be so different, right? Along those lines, if I were to talk about maybe the third thing that I would tell myself, and this might seem counterproductive or counterintuitive. I mean, English today is not my friend. Oh man, this might seem counterintuitive. I say, on one hand, build a safety net and play it safe, like at least build a solid foundation first before you start taking bigger financial risks when it comes to financial investments. But what I'm about to tell you is like, okay, what do you mean? Take big risks. I'll tell you. And that's the third thing that I would have told myself, Kepo. Kepo, take bigger risks consistently. And when I'm saying take bigger risk, I'm not saying risk your money. Make a bet on yourself, a bigger bet on yourself. Have even more belief in yourself, in what you are capable of doing. When you pay attention and when you do that thing consistently. This thing right here is a major problem for a lot of people that I talk to in coaching when I'm coaching people. It is this start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. The shiny object thing I talked about earlier. Do you see how all these three things are kind of intertwined somehow? Start and stop, start and stop. You don't really actually fully follow anything through. Not really. Not to the very end. Maybe you try one or two things like, oh, I've tried everything. Really? When people tell me I've tried everything, I'm like, oh, really? Oh, show me the list. And then they're like, oh, okay, it's just like 4 things I've tried. Well, yeah, I can think of like 7 other things that you haven't tried. And that was me. I will start something, a fantastic idea that maybe years down the line, you see somebody else doing it or a big company doing it, like, oh my gosh, I was onto something. What if I had just stayed on that course? But no, yours truly is not only impatient, she also gets bored very quickly. You can't have that kind of behavior if you're going to build anything sustainable. You can't. You have to be happy being bored, trying something else again in the same business until something works, until you've tried everything and you've gotten advice from the right people and you've actually implemented. And that's when you know that, okay, maybe it's time to pivot. But you don't start something, do it for a few months, 6 months, 9 months or something, and then you quit. Sometimes I am even convinced that sometimes I have quit 3 feet before the gold. Like if I had just continued, even if it was just like 4 more months, I might have hit something. So I would go back and tell past Kepo, just sit with it. make a bigger bet on yourself. Believe that you can actually do this thing and you can actually see it through. But you have to show up consistently. You have to show up even when you don't feel like it. Motivation will go away. That's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. That excitement in the beginning, it goes away. But the thing that will keep you there and the thing that is keeping me here today now, that is why me showing up on this podcast is so different now. The thing that is keeping me going now is, oh my gosh, I'm taking a bigger bet on myself. I believe bigger in my ability to actually land this plane. Land this plane called financial freedom. Land this plane called building a sustainable and successful business. Land this plane called building multiple streams of income. Land this plane called freedom. Because freedom for me is one of my biggest values. And the way I define freedom is ability to do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it, with whomever I want to do it, wherever I want to do it. And we all know one thing that can definitely help propel you into that kind of free life is not having economic stress, i.e., money in the bank. Show them what you think. Right? Imagine if you took a bigger bet on yourself today. Number one, like, you know what? Self, you can do this. And then number two, you don't underestimate what you can do, what you can achieve 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. And then number three, you start to make smarter financial investments, find smarter financial decisions so that you are set up very nicely so that if push comes to shove, you don't have to be tethered to a job or tethered to something that is bringing in money, but you don't really want to do it and it's actually draining you of life itself. You don't have to be tethered to that. You can even just focus on what you really love to do. Imagine if you did that. Kepo, self, imagine if I did that. I'm talking to myself too. I don't have it all figured out. I don't believe that I have to have it all figured out before I can get on this podcast and tell you what I have been telling myself and what I know has made the difference between me quitting 3 feet short of gold and me continuing until I hit that gold. As far as I'm concerned, I have already hit gold. Even the fact that I'm showing up on this episode, on this podcast today, if I told you the emotions that were going through my mind before I pressed record, you will not believe that it's the same person that is talking right now. But I have taken a bigger bet on myself. And now I understand the compounding power of taking consistent action, of building the right foundations first. I get it now. Ooh, I get it now. So to recap, 3 things that I could go back to tell myself, even when I was earning what a lot of people will consider good money in terms of salary, right? I'm talking about being a business owner, but salary, yeah, 200K that is not taxed. Like that's after taxes. Come on, you all. Even with that, I was miserable because I wasn't putting things in the right order. Number one, do not overestimate what you can do in 1 year and underestimate what you can do in 5 years. Number two, build a solid foundation with your finances before you take bigger financial risks. Number three, take a bigger risk on yourself. Make a bigger bet on yourself and your ability to actually land your plane. Whatever is in your plane, as in your dreams, your goals. Take a bigger bet on yourself. Because everything you want to do, everything you want to achieve is already inside you. Your dreams, your goals, it's not even about getting those dreams or goals. When you start this journey, like really, really in earnest, and you start to do things consistently, you start to really now understand when people say it's not about the destination, it's about who you become in the process. Those dreams, those goals are just one part of that your truest self that wants to come out, that is fighting to come out. So whose side are you going to be on? Are you going to be on your side, on the side of your truest self, or on the side of yourself that is miserable today and is like, "Ah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't like this job that I'm at. I'm miserable. I want to be rich. I want to win the lottery." Oh, just fun fact. Maybe it's not a fun fact, but I hear a lot of people say they want to win the lottery, and then I ask them, "So did you buy a lottery ticket?" No. Okay, so how do you expect to win the lottery? How do you expect to win the lottery of your life if you haven't even done the basic things? You haven't even taken consistent action for a full year straight to even see what happens. You haven't gone to people who are succeeding in this area and actually rub shoulders with them, talk to them, pick their brain. Like, what are you doing? And I'm talking to myself too. I am, you guys. In fact, maybe this podcast is just for me. Thanks for listening to it, to listen to me preach to myself. But if any of this makes sense to you today, when you finish listening to this podcast, you're just going to say, "Oh, that was great. That was inspiring." You're going to take action. If you don't take action, you weren't inspired. You were just tickled. Transformation trumps inspiration any day, anytime. And if it means ending this podcast now so you can go do something, press stop. Stop listening to me. Go and make sure you do one thing today. Commit to doing one thing today. One of the three things I just talked about. Like, okay, I'm going to start believing this way. I'm going to start doing this consistently, whatever it is. You're welcome. I say this with all the love in my heart. First and foremost for myself and for you. I hope this was helpful. If it was, or you know someone who could use this, make sure you share with them. Thanks for listening all, and see you all on the next episode. Ta-da! Thanks for tuning in to Grow with Kepo. If this episode sparked something for you, subscribe, share it with a friend, and keep growing.